Part 6. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 53. Although village chief Chi said that he had escaped this time, all the villages that the Haikai people passed through on Thursday needed to write self-criticisms and cooperate with further investigations. These people are like flies, and they will often stare at Kijia village in the future. They may not bite people to death, but they are annoying. If Kijia village finds out today that these people have not honestly carried out labor reform and ideological reform, then what awaits Kijia village is endless re-education. Village Chief Chi's position as the village party secretary is not guaranteed, and he may also become the object of re-education. He Tian also understands Village Chief Chi's mood. Kijia village will not be so peaceful in the future. Fortunately, today passed safely, and she will be doubly careful to deal with outsiders in the future. He Tian thought carefully about her previous life, and it seemed that there was no such thing, and Kijia village had always been peaceful. Now it seems that with her changes, some things have also changed. We cannot look at problems with a fixed perspective, but must look at things with a developmental perspective. To achieve this step, we must understand the movements of everyone in the village. Chief Chi, the most important thing now is to find out who exposed him, he Tian suggested. Secondly, we must properly arrange the work of the labor reform personnel. Tian girl is right, Chief Chi said in fear. You are often in the livestock, so old man Bai will be handed over to you. When you work every day, find something within your ability to do, so as not to be caught in the act. I know, Chief Chi, he Tian agreed. Others are easy to deal with, but old man Bai can't work because his leg is broken, so he must be kept in mind all the time. Chief Chi wiped the sweat from his head, and there were traces of sweat on his face. With the sun's exposure, he looked a little more vicissitudes. He Tian guessed that Chief Chi must be very sad now. He has been doing his best to seek welfare for the village, but now he has been reported by the villagers, which hurts him a lot. After Chief Chi left, he Tian settled old man Bai, went to the kitchen, cooked for them, and then went back to Grandma Chi-san's house. When Grandma Chi-san saw he Tian coming back unscathed, she breathed a sigh of relief and said, Tian girl, you are finally back. I was so worried. Tian girl likes to help people. If those people who were sent down to the countryside were found to have problems, they might also implicate Tian girl. She wanted to help, but her background was not good, so she had no right to speak. Every time something like this happened, Grandma Chi-san hid at home, not daring to show her head, worried that she would be pulled out for re-education. Alas, this old woman with bound feet, her old bones can't stand the tossing. I'm fine, Grandma Chi, he Tian was relieved to carry the basket and chuckled. Village Chief Chi has arranged it. Everyone works hard, and those people from the county commune can't find any mistakes. After listening for a while, Grandma Chi-san said seriously, Tian girl, you have to be careful. Our Kijia village may not be peaceful in the future. You must be careful and cautious when working and doing things, and don't go out of line. It's too scary outside. Why do you say that? He Tian asked. She didn't believe that Grandma Chi-san was an ordinary old lady and wanted to hear Grandma Chi's advice. Oh, my God, our Kijia village is at the edge of Daowen County, the most remote. It takes most of the day to get here from the county town over the mountains and hills. In the past, such serious situations did not have much impact here, and no one came here. Now these people who have been transferred here have attracted these people only a few days ago. There are only two possibilities. On the one hand, it may be that those people have offended the people above and want to punish them. On the other hand, it may be that the people in the village want to use these people to pull down the village Chief Chi. Oh, he Tian was shocked. Grandma Chi-san could think so thoroughly without leaving the house, and her analysis was very logical. She was really not an ordinary old lady. Grandma Chi, you guessed it right, it's amazing. This time, someone in the village wrote a letter to report it, and the county commune sent people here for a surprise inspection. He Tian said in surprise. No wonder there is a saying in later generations that an old man in the family is like a treasure, which is true. For some things, they can infer the general truth based on experience. Grandma Chi-san smiled, waved her hand, and said with a wry smile, "Yes, it's so chaotic everywhere, and people's hearts are also in chaos. Now some people will do anything to achieve their goals. Now someone in the village reported it, which is not a big deal. After all, it is in the village. If you check it carefully, you can always find it. If someone above has a grudge against these transferred personnel, it will be more troublesome. After all, they have left Kijia village and are powerless." Originally, He Tian was in a heavy mood. When she heard what Grandma Chi-san said, her eyes suddenly lit up and she suddenly understood. Yes, compared with the people above, the people below are easier to deal with. After all, they are close and easy to investigate. Grandma Chi is really insightful. He Tian gave a thumbs up and admired this old lady from the bottom of her heart. What kind of insightful opinions are these? They are just human nature. Grandma Chi-san said, "Stop talking. Eat quickly and go to work. People from the commune are here today. No one in the village will slack off. Everyone works hard. If you are not active, you are a backward element." Hey, He Tian agreed, ate with Grandma Chi-san, and then went to the back mountain with a bamboo basket on her back. As Grandma Chi-san said, the villagers who used to dawdle now trot, not daring to lag behind for a moment, and not wanting to be the object of re-education. In the village, there were no voices and no people laughing. The whole village seemed to be shrouded in a gray sky, quiet, very depressing and uncomfortable. He Tian was also affected. She firmly remembered Grandma Chi-san's words and became more careful. Like everyone else, she walked in a hurry and worked very actively. When He Tian walked to the woods at the entrance of the village, she met Chi Jiangguo riding a bicycle. This is the person He Tian least wants to see. She has been avoiding him before, but why did she meet Chi Jiangguo again today? He Tian lowered his head and accelerated his progress. No matter how fast his legs were, they couldn't compare to two wheels. Chi Jiangguo caught up with He Tian. Tian. Chi Jiangguo shouted hurriedly, "I'm sorry, a few days ago, but my second uncle forgot your letter because he was old and had a bad memory. Next time when my second uncle receives the letter, I will bring it to you personally so that he will not forget it again and let you see the letter from home as soon as possible." If He Tian had encountered such a thing in his previous life, he might have believed Chi Jiangguo's words and would have been very grateful to Chi Jiangguo. But now He Tian still doesn't believe that Chi Shulai didn't hide her letter on purpose. Other educated youths had received the letter before, so why did he just forget her letter? Chi Shulai is not old and does not have Alzheimer's disease. Besides what Chi Jiangguo did in his previous life, even if she is a fool, she does not believe what Chi Jiangguo says. Double updates for 3 days in a row today. Asterisk carrot. Carrot asterisk, he. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 54. This Chi Shulai had no grievances against her and would never hide anything from her. Chi Jiangguo must be causing trouble in this, but this man actually said such words without shame in front of her. I admire you. If her letter reaches Chi Jiangguo's hands, He Tian has no way of confirming whether it was written by her parents or Huo Yingjia. After all, Chi Jiangguo's previous life was full of misdeeds. No, I will get those letters myself, He Tian said. I still have something to do. Chi Jiangguo thought He Tian would be grateful to him, but He Tian still looked cold. A little girl is so defensive. It will take a lot of effort for him to achieve his goal. If you can't deliver the letter, it's not a bad idea to ask He Tian to go to the village committee to get it. When the time comes, he can work for his second uncle Chi Shulai and meet He Tian Tian openly. If you are alone, you might be able to accomplish good things. Once a woman loses her virginity, her heart will turn to her first man. Okay, I'll let you know when the time comes, don't worry, Chi Jiangguo said excitedly. He didn't believe that He Tian Tian could resist such a big temptation. As long as he gets He Tian Tian will never escape his control again. What he lacks now is the opportunity to have reasonable contact with He Tian Tian. He Tian Tian didn't respond at all and walked forward quickly, as if Chi Jiangguo was a terrifying plague. Chi Jiangguo was behind He Tian Tian, looking at He Tianation's graceful back with obsessed eyes. His heart was surging and he was very excited. This was something he had never seen before seeing He Tian Tian. Others may only know that Chi Jiangguo fell from a tree before and broke his bones, but they don't know that he broke not only his legs, but also a very important point. His aunt's cousins all told him that he couldn't have children, which made him very painful for a while. Although he appeared to be a normal person in the past few years, he felt very inferior in his heart, so he worked hard to learn skills and could repair tractors, becoming a good young man in 8 villages in 10 miles. Seeing that everyone around him was about the same age as him, they were all married, and he was also very anxious. However, in order to protect the secret and maintain the dignity of men, he must be cautious, so he has not found a partner for a long time. Moreover, Chi Jiangguo is very arrogant at heart. He feels that he is good looking, has good family conditions, and is capable. He wants to find someone who is both beautiful and a beautiful wife. Even if you can't have a child, you can just adopt one secretly. These days, there are so many families who don't have enough to eat and send their children away. After meeting He Tian Tian, Chi Jiangguo was amazed and felt that He Tian Tian was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. The night he met He Tian Tian, Chi Jiangguo actually had such a dream, and he was very surprised when he woke up early in the morning. This is the first time Chi Jiangguo has appeared since he was born. He is very shocked, and at the same time he feels a little lucky in his heart. Maybe he's already recovered. Maybe he can become a real man. Chi Jiangguo tried to see other young people in the city or go to other villages to meet some beautiful girls, but nothing happened, so he became more and more sure that He Tian Tian was the one he was waiting for. No matter what method he uses, he will get He Tian Tian. However, Chi Jiangguo was about to take action when he discovered that although He Tian Tian was young, he was very considerate. He lived in Chi San's grandma's house and had a good relationship with Secretary Chi and Zhao Dejiao. He met He Tian Tian several times, but his relationship with He Tian Tian did not get closer. Chi Jiangguo was very anxious. When he saw that his second uncle was going to deliver a letter to He Tian Tian, Chi Jiangguo hid it. Only when you know yourself and the enemy can you fight without danger. Among the 2 letters Chi Jiangguo intercepted, one was written by He Tianation's parents and the other was written by He Tianation's good friend. Chi Jiangguo originally thought that He Tian Tian was so young that he wouldn't have a partner, so he never dared to take the plunge. But this is not the case. He Tian Tian has a crush at such a young age, which proves that she is also a wanton woman at heart. As long as some means are used, He Tian Tian can definitely be brought into submission. At the same time, he also saw opportunities for overseas relations in the letters from He Tianation's parents. Something must have happened to He Tian Tian, that's why she had to go to the mountains and go to the countryside at a young age. If He Tian Tian is ignorant, Chi Jiangguo has many ways to threaten He Tian Tian. As for any method, he will definitely make her surrender. It's just a matter of writing a letter, an envelope, and an 8-cent stamp. Chi Jiangguo first used the same method to secretly backstab village chief Chi, who had a good relationship with He Tian Tian. Haha, if the second uncle becomes the village party secretary of Kijia village, then he, as a nephew, can get more how affordable. Chi Jiangguo's actions were not without purpose. When he was repairing tractors for other villages, he saw that other villages behaved very differently from his own, and that's when he became suspicious. On the surface, there was nothing wrong with village chief Chi's work, but after Chi Jiangguo took a closer look, he found that there were many things wrong. In addition, what he saw in other villages before made him more convinced of his ideas, so Chi Jiangguo started from this point. But this time, village chief Chi was lucky. Those people were actually working, and even the one with a broken leg was spreading grass in the yard. If Zhou Hai failed, he would definitely blame him in his heart, so Chi Jiangguo packed some things and sent them to Zhou Hai's house when he went to repair the tractor tomorrow. Zhou's Huerhei did not tell who wrote the letter in Qijia village, which made Chi Jiangguo feel grateful and gave him some more benefits, making Zhou's Huerhei tight-lipped. With Zhou Hai's help, Chi Jiangguo firmly believes that he will be able to defeat village chief Chi in the near future. When the time comes, if he Tian wants to live a better life in Qijia village, she will definitely please him obediently. After village chief Chi returned, he did not sit idle. Instead, he found a few people he trusted to work together to find out who was behind the scenes. It's just a matter of calculation, but without counting, village chief Chi thinks that he is doing his best in the village and has not offended anyone. Tell me, who reported me? Why did they report me? Village chief Chi smoked a dry pipe, frowned, and looked at the village accountant Chi Shulai, the women's director Zhao Dejiao, and the two village captains. Chi Dazu is the village chief and the village party secretary. He is the top leader of Qijia village. He can be counted as the second leader. No one else spoke, so he had to speak, and said bravely, "Our village has always been peaceful. Village chief Chi, you are the most prestigious in the village, and you are fair and have no conflicts with the villagers. You should not be from our village." Reported. Chi Shulai and Zini said the same thing as they didn't. Chapters 48 and 49 are finally released and can be read. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 55. Chi Shulai is no good. Village chief Chi glanced at Chi Shulai and asked, "If he's not from the village, who could he be? Zhou Hai told me face to face that he was from our village. Does he need to tell lies to deceive us?" Ahem, Chi Shulai coughed twice. Those people are originally decentralized labor reform personnel. Maybe someone above is looking for trouble, or maybe, they are young people in the city. Chi Shulai has long been dissatisfied with those young people in the city who have high aspirations. Now that he has the opportunity to discredit them, he will naturally not miss this good opportunity. Anyway, it was just a suspicion and no evidence was needed, so he was not lying. Zhao Dejiao raised his head and glanced at Chi Shulai, then lowered his head again and curled his lips. This old bastard must have fallen in love with another young girl. The young people in the city are not very old and have good looks. There was no chance before, but now that there is a chance, he starts to show his face, and he looks like an old gangster. Besides, there is no contact at all between the young people in the city and the decentralized personnel, let alone any conflicts. Why should they be reported? Chi Shuqiang, the captain of the first team, said, "Brother Shulai, what you said makes sense. People in our village should not be able to do such a thing." Chi Shuming, the captain of the second team, looked at Chi Shulai. Chi Shuqiang took a puff of dry cigarette and said, "We haven't caught Xing now, and we can't be sure who it is. Although the young people in the city are more delicate, they are not without eyesight. People shouldn't do such a thing." Chi Shulai smiled coquettishly and said, "It's just a few of us. I'm just talking about it, and I didn't say it must have been done by young people in the city." "That's right, I'm just saying that if it's impossible for the young people in the city to report, then it's even more impossible for the villagers in our village." Chi Shuqiang, the first captain, is close to Chi Shulai. Chi Shulai spoke. Village Chief Chi knew that the first captain and the second captain usually like to argue over each other, but he didn't expect that they could argue over this matter. Hey, they are all careless, and they don't care what the situation is now, they are still fighting in the nest. Since no one can tell who it is, let's go back and think more about it, Village Chief Chi said, not wanting to see them argue and let these people leave. Rather than letting these people argue here, it is better to go back and look for clues. Yes, please, please, if you can't find out this matter for a while, then investigate slowly and carefully. You can't wrongly accuse a good person, and you can't let a bad person go, Chi Shulai said righteously and sternly. Today we will check the village. If you are exhausted, we won't disturb you. Take a good rest and be energetic to find the mole. Yes, yes, Chi Shukyong echoed again, like Chi Shulai's yes man. The second captain, Chi Shuming, said, Village Chief Chi, this matter is strange. There are many people in the village and there is probably no useful information in the village. If possible, Village Chief Chi, you'd better find someone from above to help investigate. Find out who reported it, teach him a lesson, and let him know the importance of the relationship, and he can't bring trouble to the whole village just because of him. Re-education over and over again throughout the day affects production and work. I wonder who is afraid that the world will not be in chaos and harm the entire Kijia village? Frankly speaking, during the period when Chief Chi was the village party secretary, the village was very peaceful, and other villages did not dare to cause trouble. It is good enough to take care of the villagers and get benefits from the commune to the villagers. But some people only see what's in front of them and don't look at the long term. When I found out that I didn't get as much as before, I started to regret it. Seeing that everyone was talking, Zhao Dejiao couldn't say a word even if she came here. She thought for a while and said, Village Chief Chi, in fact, it is not difficult to investigate this matter. First of all, what Zhou Hai said, that person wrote a letter to report. In this way, many people can be excluded. There are not many literate people in our village, only 20 or 30 people in total, and including the young people in the city, there are less than 40 people. Also, after you write the letter, you have to send it to the commune, and then check who went to the county during this period. This way you can exclude many people, and narrow the scope of the remaining few people, so that you can check more people. Several people looked at Zhao Dejiao, the director of the Women's Federation. It was not easy. If Zhao Dejiao were a man, he would be willing to let her be the head of the village. Narrowing it down is better than finding a needle in a haystack. Okay, let's do it like this. The three of you go and find out which literate person has been to the county during this time. Village Chief Chi also felt that this matter was reliable. When the busy farming season was over, he went to the county commune to ask, then just prepare with both hands. Farming is busy now, and we need to harvest corn and rice as soon as possible. This is the top priority. Village Chief Chi explained that there is nothing like a big belly. If the food is gone, the life is gone. How can we manage re-education and a series of campaigns? A few people took it seriously, said a few words, divided the work, and then left. After several village cotters left, Liang Hongyu came out of the back room. There were so many people just now that she couldn't be present and couldn't interrupt. Now that only the husband and wife were left, she said slowly, Bigfoot's method is good. I also have to find someone to help me inquire. Dazu, since we have no grievances with the people in the village, someone is reporting you now. Maybe someone is interested in your position as village party secretary. I was there just now. I'm embarrassed to say it. Village Chief Chi sneered, knocked off the ashes from his copper pipe, and said, the village is not as peaceful as we imagined. I was careless in the past, and I can't do this anymore. No matter what is going on outside, as long as we arrange for the decentralized people, the staff is better than anything else. What I'm saying is, those who are in good health should do heavier work, and those who are in poor health should do lighter work. Anyway, don't let them idle, so those who engage in sports will have nothing to do. Liang Hongyu said, Old Man Bai is my son, specifically asked us to take good care of him. It seems that someone in the village has noticed that we are different from Old Man Bai. We can no longer help Old Man Bai openly, and we have to find a way to get others to come forward. Hey! It's such a mess, village chief Chi sighed. Suddenly his eyes lit up. He thought of today's great hero and said, yes, sweet girl, she is smart. If it hadn't been for her today, I would have been unlucky too. I'm free tomorrow. When you see sweet girl, it would be more convenient for her to take care of Old Man Bai secretly. Liang Hongyu nodded and said, that's a good idea. That girl is smart. Leave it to her. We can rest assured that we will keep an eye on her when there is an opportunity to recruit workers or go to college. That's natural, village chief Chi said. I never treat people unfairly, but the world has been in chaos recently, and there has been no quota. Fortunately, there is enough food in the village, and the sweet girl is young. When the limelight passes, she is an adult at the age of 18, and it is not too late to make arrangements. Liang Hongyu was very satisfied with her husband's arrangement and said, okay, I'll tell the sweet girl when I see her tomorrow. That girl is smart and will definitely complete the task. He Tian is very smart and knows what is good for herself. As long as they reveal the promised benefits, He Tian will definitely help. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 56. When He Tian lay down to rest at night, she relaxed her body and mind. It's not easy today. There will be many tough battles in the future, and she must be more careful. Her body was very tired, but her spirit was very exciting. He Tian couldn't sleep. She couldn't think of a reasonable way to retaliate against Qi Jiangguo, and she didn't know how to help village chief Qi. Now the village head Qi Xiaoyan treats her very well. If someone else were to be the village cotter, she might not have the same treatment as she does now. While hesitating, He Tian suddenly remembered that she had a helper. If you don't go to the Snake King when you encounter difficulties now, when will you? Her blood was supplied to the Snake King for free, and her only requirement was that she be protected by the Snake King, live in peace for 7 or 8 years, and then go to college and leave. He Tian sat up and scratched her left ankle a few times. After a while, she felt the ankle was loose. At this moment, He Tian found that her eyes lit up, like daytime, and she saw the Snake King suspended in the air. She asked in surprise, hurry up and make it darker. It's so bright. What should Grandma Qi do if she sees it? It's so bright, it's simply not the brightness that a pea-sized kerosene lamp can provide. Don't worry, this is a barrier and cannot be seen from the outside, the Snake King said proudly. Its items are not those junk things. What did you ask me to do? Is something wrong? Of course something happened. Someone in the village reported it to village chief Qi. As you know, I just established a good relationship with village chief Qi's family, and I don't want to just watch something happen to village chief Qi. He Tian said, do you have any way of knowing who reported it to village chief Qi? It would be even better if you could teach the miscreant a lesson by the way. I will be very grateful to you. After hearing He Tian's request, the Snake King's eyes evaded, and he lost his previous confidence, but he still said firmly, this is your human matter, I will not interfere. After all, people are humans, and the human world is the human world after all, not the demon world where he lives. It can do whatever it wants. He Tian is no longer the innocent person she used to be. She saw some clues from the Snake King's behavior and made a plan in her mind. She smiled and said, Honorable Snake King, do you not want to help, or are you unable to help? At this time, He Tian smiled like a cunning little fox. The Snake King still wanted to resist, but when he saw He Tian's smile, all the arrogance on his body disappeared, and he said dejectedly, "This is the human world, governed by the laws of heaven in the human world. I am the king of the demon world. If I abuse my magic power, it will be discovered by the heaven in the human world." Human world? Demon world? The way of heaven? Although He Tian didn't want to believe this, the existence of the Snake King in front of her just proved that this was true and she had to believe it. I see. But He Tian was more concerned about what would happen if he was discovered, and asked, "What will happen if he is discovered?" The Snake King knew that although He Tian acted like a little fox now, he was actually a kind person at heart, and He Tian was his ally. There was no need to hide it from her, so he told the truth. "If you are caught by the laws of heaven in the human world, I found out that the 9 heavens mysterious thunder will rain down. With my current magic power, I can't resist it. Even if I don't get killed, I will never be able to return to the demon world." He Tian was stunned. She originally thought that doing so would only make the Snake King weak, but she didn't expect it would have such serious consequences. In her previous life, she was deceived, and due to her own cowardice, she did not cherish her family and hometown, and had been living outside. She knew the pain of longing, so she understood the Snake King's longing for the demon world. "Oh my God, since the consequences are so serious, you have to hide them well. I will never ask you to do anything again, lest you cannot return to the demon world or home, and I will have trouble sleeping and eating for the rest of my life." He Tian Tao, she is a human being, and her lifespan is 100 years at most, which will soon pass. Dust returns to dust, dust returns to dust, and a new reincarnation begins. But the Snake King is a demon clan. They come from the demon world and have a long lifespan. She died and everything was over, but the Snake King could only live alone in the human world as a snake and could not return to his hometown. This is not what He Tian wants to see. The Snake King helped He Tian. She hoped that the Snake King could have a good ending, so He Tian would try her best to help the Snake King. Although it can't deal with humans, but... After listening to He Tian's words, the Snake King's hard and cold snake heart became a little looser. In fact, it is not impossible. He is a Snake King with profound magical powers. As long as it wants to, it will have countless ways. Although the Snake King did not finish speaking, He Tian heard hope from the Snake King's words. "Snake King, what is it? You are so powerful, there must be other ways, right?" He Tian's big eyes were shining with hope. "Ahem," the Snake King arrogantly coughed twice and said with a smile, "Actually, it's not impossible. Although I can't deal with humans directly, when I'm not practicing, I can help you monitor the entire village and let you know the actual situation. You can come up with countermeasures as soon as possible based on the actual situation." He Tian was stunned, and her little mouth opened in surprise, revealing her white and crystal clear millet teeth. If this is the case, is it like she has an extra radar that can know what people in the village are doing? Once someone enters the village, she can know in advance. Is this really possible? He Tian asked, suppressing the excitement in her heart. Although she urgently needed the help of the Snake King, she did not want the Snake King to be harmed. "If it is not good for your health, you don't need to help my, things haven't reached the worst yet, I can handle it for the time being. You don't need to waste too much of my mana, I can help you," Snake King said. "However, you must go to the cave 5 times a month. You know, I like to be in the water." Okay, He Tian agreed quickly. She could go mow the grass nearby and let the Snake King swim. The Snake King nodded with satisfaction and said, "Is there anything else?" He Tian shook her head and nodded suddenly. The Snake King once again looked at He Tian with disdain. He was smart for a moment and then became stupid again. He said impatiently, "He shakes his head sometimes and nods his head. Do you have anything else to do?" It didn't want to be called out by this stupid woman again just after it got back inside. It also requires mana to get in and out. He Tian listened and said quickly, there is something, a little something small. As you know, you are always on my ankle. If you don't get off my ankle, can we still talk? You can communicate with me at will, but if I want to find you, can I only scratch my ankles? If there is no one else around, she can squat down and scratch her ankles without any scruples. But what if there are other people around? Or is the situation more urgent? How should she quickly contact the Snake King? 2 updates are here today. Rolling around asking for all kinds of things. Oh, mathematical intersection symbol. Mathematical intersection symbol, oh haha. The sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi-Sing Cao. Chapter 57. This kind of thing is a piece of cake for the Snake King, it comes at your fingertips. Of course, the Snake King said arrogantly, thinking what was going on, but you need to recite a spell, Gilu Gilu me. Gilu Gilu me, He Tian said in surprise. It's so amazing that there is such a spell, as if she was hungry. Yes, that's it. Remember it, don't forget it. As long as you say this, we can talk to each other. Even when I am practicing, I can wake up the king directly, the Snake King said, and for this conversation, you can use your mouth or your mental power, that is, your thoughts, but you must concentrate, otherwise it will affect the clarity of our voice transmission. Since having the Snake King by his side, He Tian feels that her life is like a dream. It is obviously impossible, but it actually appears in my life. Spiritual power, He Tian was Spartan again. She was just a weak woman, how could she have mental power? She is not a cultivator. I will hear what you are thinking when you concentrate, Snake King said, it's that simple. If you still don't understand, I really doubt your IQ. Oh, I know, He Tian said quickly, you don't have to doubt my IQ. It's not that I can't figure it out, but you, the Snake King, are so amazing. We ordinary humans can't even imagine such magic ability. After hearing He Tian's sincere compliment, the Snake King readily accepted it and temporarily forgiven He Tian's stupidity. Okay, I'm going to rest. You should also rest early. After the Snake King finished speaking, he returned to He Tian's ankle, where it practiced. There was a barrier to protect it from outside interference. He Tian was originally worried and scared, but now with the powerful radar of Snake King, he can know what is happening in the village and take precautions in advance. In this way, there is no need to have a black eye. I feel unsure. He Tian was relieved, in a good mood, relaxed, and soon fell asleep. The weather was sunny early the next morning, but it also indicated that it would be very hot today. However, compared with rainy days, it is difficult to harvest crops. The current hot days are also what the villagers are looking forward to. He Tian went to work after breakfast. Aunt Lu from the animal husbandry team took several capable decentralized personnel to support the harvesting of grain. Old Man Chi, Old Man Bai, and He Tian continue to work in the livestock team. When He Tian arrived, Old Man Bai was already sitting outside, waiting to work. Sweet girl, please give me some work. Old Man Bai saw He Tian and became very close to him. He Tian is about the same age as his grandson, and he still doesn't know where he will be transferred. He Tian smiled shyly and said, actually, there isn't much work. Let Grandpa Chi help you arrange it. Old Man Chi was drinking porridge and said with a smile, you, just sit in the yard today. If anyone comes over, you will bask in the grass in the yard. You can't do any other work. Okay, I'll do that. Old Man Bai smiled, then sweet girl needs to cut more grass and come back. Okay, He Tian agreed with a smile. Everyone was very vigilant today, so she didn't need to bother reminding Old Man Bai. He Tian carried the livestock team's large backpack to the back mountain, and saw Liang Hongyu standing there not far from the foot of the mountain. Aunt Liang, why are you here? He Tian said in a crisp voice. Everyone is busy with farming now. Chi Xiao Yan's mother Liang Hongyu is waiting on her way. She must have something to say to her. As He Tian had guessed, Liang Hongyu smiled when she saw He Tian and said, Tian girl, you are here, I am waiting for you. Ah, He Tian didn't know why. What did the secretary's wife want from her? Actually, it's not a big deal. As you know, the gang came to Kijia village yesterday and said that someone was suing my family. The reason was actually to treat the decentralized personnel well. Although they have escaped, who knows what will happen in the future. Sweet girl, although Uncle Chi is not a good person, he is not a bad person either. That old man is injured, so he can't let him work in the fields. Liang Hongyu explained their difficulties to He Tian. That's what Aunt Liang said. He Tian said, they are all old people, and they are injured. They are indeed unable to work. It is indeed a bit excessive for those people to use this excuse to prosecute Secretary Chi. Yes, since someone has been prosecuted, Uncle Chi and I can't come over until the prosecutor is found. Then on the animal husbandry team, you should pay more attention and watch for us. Liang Hongyu asked, don't worry, the two of us will remember your kindness. If you have anything to do in the future, just tell us and we will do our best to help you. Liang Hongyu stated the purpose of this trip. He Tian knew why village chief Chi and Liang Hongyu were so enthusiastic about greeting those people. It was not because they were so kind, but because village chief Chi's second son Chi Rongjun was working in the city and they were specially asked to do so. After escaping this tense period, the old man will get back to work. Even if Liang Hongyu didn't say anything, He Tian would take good care of old man Bai, and maybe he could help her in the future. Because old man Bai is from Nanji, and He Tian is from the same place. Well, Aunt Liang, I remember. I will take care of them in the animal husbandry team. Don't worry, you and Secretary Chi. He Tian promised, without asking them why they were so concerned about old man Bai. During this period, some things don't need to be said directly, as long as everyone understands them. Seeing that He Tian was so cheerful, Liang Hongyu felt very happy and said, Tian girl, you are a smart girl. Since you are so cheerful, I won't hide it. From now on, every time Niu Daijin comes over, your letters will be I ask Xiao Yan to find you. You go to the village branch with her to get the letter. There is no need to find Chi Shulai alone. That old bastard was a gangster when he was young, and he became an old gangster when he got older. The letter is probably filled with bad intentions, so you should be more careful. Chi Shulai secretly hid He Tian's letter. Even if He Tian didn't tell Chi Daijin, Chi Xiao Yan would tell her parents. Sure enough, after Chi Xiao Yan said this, village chief Chi didn't think much about it, but as a woman, Liang Hongyu was thoughtful and discerned some clues. However, Liang Hongyu's speculation was still a little off. This time it was not Chi Shulai, an old gangster, who fell in love with He Tian, but Chi Jiangguo, a young gangster, who fell in love with He Tian. Liang Hongyu reciprocated and reminded her, which further strengthened He Tian's decision to protect Secretary Chi. Thank you Aunt Liang, I understand, and I will not act alone in the future. He Tian said, neither Chi Shulai nor Chi Jiangguo is a good person. In her previous life, He Tian married into the Chi family, and she heard some rumors in dialect one after another, saying that Chi Shulai had an unusual relationship with the urban young people in the village. She was naive and didn't think so much before, but now that she thinks about it, she feels sick. Just wait and see, He Tian will not let this old bastard Chi Shulai go. Update regularly. I originally planned to do one chapter in the morning and one chapter in the evening. But I thought that one chapter was not long, and if I sent it separately, I wouldn't be able to read much of the content at once, so I posted it together. You can watch it when you get up or in the car when you go to work. Ahem, cough, cough, after saying so much, I have all kinds of requests. You know, asterisk carrot. Carrot asterisk, hee hee. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 58. Liang Hongyu saw that He Tian Tian was easy to understand, and she liked He Tian Tian even more. If He Tian Tian hadn't been so young, she would have wanted to make He Tian Tian and her second son a couple. He Tian Tian felt a little uncomfortable as Liang Hongyu looked her up and down. Although she was not bored, such eyes always made people uncomfortable. Aunt Liang, it's getting late, I'm going to mow the grass, He Tian Tian said. She didn't want to be looked at by Liang Hongyu, as if she could see flowers on her body. Yeah, I almost forgot to go to work, Liang Hongyu said with a smile. Okay, you go quickly. You don't have to go to the deep mountains and old forests, it's dangerous there. Just mow the grass halfway up the mountain. I know, Aunt Liang, He Tian Tian agreed and started to turn around and go up the mountain. Liang Hongyu likes to chat with He Tian Tian, but now she is busy with farming and has no time. She will look for opportunities to chat more with He Tian Tian in the future. He Tian Tian is going to cut the grass near the cave today and release the Snake King to swim in the pool in the cave. You can't stay too far away from me, do you understand? The Snake King was filled with joy, but before leaving, he confessed that his current abilities were not enough to travel far to find He Tian Tian. He Tian Tian happily agreed and said, I'll mow the grass here. When it's done, I'll call you. It's still the same grunt grumble, isn't it? Well, such a great kindness. After saying that, the Snake King walked through the thick grass and got into the cave. He Tian Tian was mowing the grass outside, and now he was very strong. The sickle was sharpened by Old Man Chi, and he was cutting the grass very quickly. He Tian Tian took advantage of the coolness and cut some more. There was a lot of open space on the mountain, so she could bask in the sun for a while. About an hour later, He Tian Tian looked at the large patch of green grass behind her, feeling very accomplished. This is the result of her hard work. Sweat flowed down He Tian Tian's fair cheeks. He wiped the sweat with a towel, rested for a while, drank some water, and then started to put it in the basket. Gilu gilu, He Tian Tian tried to recite the spell that the Snake King taught her. As soon as she said it, the Snake King appeared on the grass in front of her. It really works. We should go down the mountain. Okay, the Snake King was obviously reluctant to leave, but he had to leave because it couldn't leave He Tian Tian too far away. To a certain extent, after the Snake King bid He Tian Tian, there is already a contract, which can be understood as a whole. We will come up again tomorrow, and you can still go and play, He Tian Tian said. She had a very heavy task and had to prepare fodder before the busy farming season. After the busy farming season is over, everyone except the elderly and children will have to go to work on the river, to build local water conservancy facilities and clean up the river channels, so He Tian Tian does not have much time left and must speed up. The Snake King didn't say much, it already understood the current situation. If He Tian Tian wants to live well and have enough to eat, she must work hard. When the Snake King reached her left ankle, He Tian Tian clearly felt that her body suddenly felt cooler and she no longer sweated. It turns out that Uncle Snake is a mobile and living central air conditioner. Just as He Tian Tian had guessed, with the protection of the Snake King, He Tian Tian was no longer hot, she didn't even sweat on her body, and she felt very refreshed. He Tian Tian secretly calculated in her heart that she had better not let the Snake King leave her ankles when working on hot days in the future. But this was just a thought for He Tian Tian. Every time he went near that cave, the Snake King would pass by. He Tian Tian could only deduce when the Snake King left and when he came back based on the body temperature. At the bottom of the mountain, He Tian Tian dumped grass in the yard of the livestock team, and Old Man Bai came over on crutches. Grandpa Bai, Please slow down. He Tian Tian quickly stepped forward to support Old Man Bai. Anyway, no outsiders are coming today, so you don't have to be so nervous. Haha, it's okay. I've been sitting here for a while. I can still enjoy the grass while sitting here. Old Man Bai said, you're quite tired too. Go take a rest and drink some water. He Tian Tian drank some water and said with a smile, there is still a lot of cut grass on the mountain. I have to go up the mountain and I won't rest. After He Tian Tian finished speaking, he continued up the mountain without stopping, running back and forth 3 times before getting down all the cut grass. Today, with the help of the Snake King, He Tian Tian caught a wild rabbit. Thinking that Liang Hongyu asked her to take good care of Old Man Bai, He Tian Tian went to the foot of the mountain. After cleaning the rabbits, she fried a pot of rabbit meat, picked long beans from the vegetable garden and stewed them together. The fur of the wild rabbit was put aside and was collected by Old Man Chi. It can be used as clothes to keep out the cold in winter. There are very few cotton tickets now. Sweet girl, I will clean up this rabbit skin for you. You can make a fur coat to wear in winter. It will be very warm. Old Man Chi said with a smile. Ever since He Tian Tian came to work in the animal husbandry team, I often eat pheasant meat and rabbit meat, and have accumulated a lot of rabbit skins. Thank you so much, Grandpa Chi. He Tian Tian smiled and said, I have already prepared the food. I filled an enamel jar and took it back to Grandma Chi to eat. Although Old Man Bai was drying the grass, it could be seen from the way he kept swallowing saliva and looking towards the kitchen from time to time that he was hungry. When Professor Gu, Professor Wang and others came back from the fields, He Tian Tian had just finished cooking and was about to leave. After these people came back, they would have food to eat, and they were very grateful to He Tian Tian. Hey, thanks to sweet girl today, otherwise I would not be able to rest at noon and would not be able to work in the afternoon if I came back to cook. Professor Gu ate thick flour pancakes and stewed rabbit meat with long beans, and his mouth was full of oil. After eating, they can rest for a while, which is very rare for them as they age. Old Man Bai nodded repeatedly and said, yes, we old guys are doing labor camp in Kijia village together, so we are lucky. Everyone works hard and gets through the special period, and life will be easier. Including Old Man Chi, the 8 of them were very grateful to He Tian Tian, and they all thought in their hearts that if they had the opportunity in the future, they would definitely repay He Tian Tian. He Tian Tian went home, took out the enamel jar from her backpack, opened the lid, put it on the table and said, Grandma Chi, it's time to eat. Grandma Chi saw the rabbit meat on the table and didn't ask any questions. This sweet girl is a good person and has great skills. She made pancakes without cooking. Tian Tian, Xiao Yan Yang, are we looking for you? Grandma Chi looked outside the door and saw no one came, then asked in a low voice. He Tian Tian was stunned for a moment, and then replied, going to find me, Grandma Chi, how did you know that Aunt Liang was going to find me? I was working at the threshing floor and saw Liang Hongyu heading towards the livestock team. Grandma Chi said, don't worry, no one else knows except me. Oh. He Tian Tian felt relieved, as long as she wasn't being watched. After all, Liang Hongyu couldn't let others know what Liang Hongyu had asked her to do, otherwise not only would village chief Chi be in trouble, but she would also be implicated. Second update arrived. It will be released on November 1st, please ask for all kinds of happiness. Moi. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 59. While eating, Grandma Chi-san was thinking about whether she should remind He Tian Tian. Now He Tian Tian has been staying at home for a short time. If she talks too much, will it bore He Tian Tian? But aside from that, Grandma Chi-san was also worried that He Tian Tian was young and did not understand the ways of the world, so she would suffer in the future, and she was very conflicted. He Tian Tian saw that Grandma Chi only had long beans and no rabbit meat, leaving it to her. He Tian was so moved that she took a piece of hare meat herself and said with a smile, "Grandma Chi, you eat meat." Looking at a piece of boneless hare meat in the bowl, Grandma Chi-san bit the few remaining teeth in her mouth and risked her life. Instead of eating the meat, she looked up at He Tian and said, "Sweet girl, that Liang Hongyu, if I go to you, I must ask you to help take care of those people who have been decentralized. You are a kind child, and you will help whenever others say something and you feel sorry for them. There is nothing wrong with you, but you have to be careful. If something happens, you will be the scapegoat." He Tian was stunned and blinked. What Grandma Chi said makes sense. It is very dangerous to get close to the decentralized staff at this time. Now she and Village Chief Chi are on the same side, but if the matter is exposed or someone catches him, Village Chief Chi will come forward to help her. But now that Village Chief Chi is in danger, how can he help her? He Tian's face turned pale. It turned out that He Tian was already in a very dangerous situation without knowing it. The convenience of rebirth made her think she had the upper hand. However, as she changed things around her, some new situations that were different from her previous life followed. People are still the same people as in the previous life, but things are no longer what happened in the previous life. Then, what should I do in the future? He Tian said with a bitter face. If I don't do what Aunt Liang or Village Chief Chi says, I will be offended. They will not have a good life in Kijia village. Grandma Chi-san looked at the panicked He Tian, sighed, and comforted, "Sweet girl, I am not saying this to scare you, but to give you an idea. Others may be nice to you for a while, but they may not always be nice to you. You are the only one when you are away from home, you should think more about the consequences. You can help those people in the future, but don't do it often, and don't do it in front of others. As the old saying goes, you should spare no effort to help those people now. Once you are unable to help when you are in trouble, those people will resent you. If you only help occasionally, they will see it as a help in times of need and be grateful to you." Grandma Chi, I remember it, He Tian said. She overlooked many details. If Grandma Chi didn't tell her, she wouldn't know it. "Just remember it," Grandma Chi said, "as long as we don't starve to death, then don't take risks." This is the self-protection experience that Grandma Chi-san has accumulated till now. Well, that's what Grandma Chi said. He Tian said, "It is okay to help those people secretly in the future, but it must not be so obvious." At the same time, He Tian also remembered that she and Village Chief Chi, Liang Hongyu, also had a relationship of using and being used. The degree in the middle must also be mastered. Neither far nor near. At least the current situation must be like this. As for the future, it depends on what the village chief Liang Hongyu does. If they were sincere to her, He Tian would treat them equally. With Grandma Chi-san's reminder, He Tian was much more cautious in doing things. Old Man Bai, Professor Gu, and others felt it, so they just thought He Tian was being cautious. The crops have been delivered to the threshing floor. Except for Old Man Chi and Old Man Bai, who stayed in the livestock team, everyone else went to the threshing floor to help. Everyone is busy and every second counts. Next to the threshing floor, several cabins were built with wooden kong mats and other materials for people watching the threshing floor. The livestock team only had 4 cows, and they were all brought over to run the field. If there are not enough animals, manpower will be the only option. 4 people pull a large stone roller to roll the field and crush the particles on the rice. The only tractor in the village drives the threshing machine, and there are several people standing behind it, covering their mouths and noses with towels, holding small handfuls of rice in their hands for threshing. Children in the village are driven into the fields by adults to pick ears of rice. When they pick them up, they belong to their own family. If you are lucky, you can pick up several kilograms of grain in a day. The old man was shucking and grinding corn on another threshing floor. There was no one idle in the whole village. Even the old dog that looks like a member of the production team has gone to the fields to catch rabbits and mice these days. When farming is busy, we eat in the canteen together instead of cooking at home, just to save time. He Tian Tian and several young people in the city were assigned to the grain drying group. He is mainly responsible for spreading the clean grain sent by the Yang Yang team and drying it. He has to turn it over with a wooden shovel every half hour to speed up the drying. Huang Jingli and Lin Xiru are in a group, and He Tian Tian and Ye Xiaofan are in a group. It's so hot, Lin Xiru kept muttering and hurried to the shade of the tree. Huang Jingli followed closely behind, and after arriving under the tree, she took a swig of water, but she didn't feel too hot like Lin Xiru. Ye Xiaofan rolled his eyes. Lin Xiru and Huang Jingli were so careless in their work. The grain on the field was uneven and thick. It would take more than an hour to turn over the entire threshing floor, but these two were better off. It took less than 50 minutes. That's it? He Tian Tian didn't say anything. She knew that Lin Xiru and Huang Jingli were like this. They always worked like this, always trying to take advantage of others. It's useless to say it, they will still do this in the future, so He Tian Tian and Ye Xiaofan won't say anything now and won't argue with these two people. Sister Xiaofan, let's get started. He Tian Tian put on her straw hat, put on a towel around her face, and put on gloves on her hands, and walked out into the sun fully armed. Here we come. Ye Xiaofan was dressed similarly to He Tian Tian. He was well dressed and didn't want the sun to damage his skin. He Tian Tian and Ye Xiaofan were very serious about their work. They flattened the place where Lin Xiru and Huang Jingli had spread it before. It was neither thin nor thick. It took a total of 1 hour and 10 minutes to complete the entire large area. This shows how rough Lin Xiru and Huang Jingli are in their work. The rice is divided into different areas according to the order in which it is beaten. After drying, it can be put in pockets and received in the granary at night. While He Tian Tian and Ye Xiaofan were resting, it was Huang Jingli's turn and Lin Xiru went to work. If we keep taking turns like this, the work is not too heavy, and He Tian Tian can do it. These two people are really like each other, Ye Xiaofan said scornfully. Tian Tian, you don't live in the foothold, you don't understand them. I'm not saying bad things about them, it's too much. Not only do they never do housework in the foothold, if you don't cook, don't clean your own house, and work outside, you'll find ways to be lazy. Whoever works with them will be unlucky. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 60. He Tian Tian secretly laughed in her heart. How could she not know that in her previous life, she, Lin Xiru, and Huang Jingli lived in the same house, and she was responsible for cleaning the house and sweeping the floor. Sometimes Lin Xiru even asked her to wash clothes. He Tian Tian was young at that time. If she didn't do anything, Lin Xiru and Huang Jingli would team up to bully He Tian Tian. Although there was no beating or scolding, there were a lot of sarcastic remarks. These two people are like young ladies from a wealthy family, they never do housework. There are many people in the educated youth spot who can't stand these two people. It is estimated that in the near future, the educated youth spot will eat separately, instead of cooking together, they will eat together. Some people take less food, but eat more. People take a lot of grain but don't have much to eat. Lin Xiru, Huang Jingli, and Li Mingkai are the first type of people, so it is impossible for educated youths to eat together for a long time. If you don't tell me, I really don't know about this. He Tian Tian smiled and said, then don't they often have conflicts with others in the educated youth spots? Ye Xiaofan nodded and said, who says it's not the case? Li Mingkai is the only one who has a good relationship with the two of them now, and everyone else is very dissatisfied with them. Brother Wang Lei, with such a good temper, was so angry that he ignored them. He Tian Tian was stunned. Is there such a thing? It seems that this is different from the previous life. What did they do to make Brother Wang Lei so angry? He Tian Tian asked. She always felt that Lin Xiru was usually targeting her, but he Tian Tian didn't live with her or work together, so she didn't take it to heart. But things are different now than before, and maybe Lin Xiru will also try to hit her in the head. Ye Xiaofan saw Huang Jingli and Lin Xiru were a little far away, so he whispered, "Then Lin Xiru is shameless and actually seduced brother Wang Lei." Fortunately, Sister Wu and I came back from outside and heard Lin Xiru crying and asked brother Wang Lei to adjust her. It was a light job. Brother Wang Lei said that this was the arrangement of the village, and he had no choice. This Lin Xiru leaned on brother Wang Lei. In order to avoid Lin Xiru, brother Wang Lei fell so hard that his palms were all broken. The skin is worn out. He Tian Tian was stunned for a while listening to Ye Xiaofan's gossip. This, Lin Xiru must be too exciting. Sister Wu and brother Wang Lei only confirmed their relationship some time ago. It was shameless for Lin Xiru to do this even though she knew she already had a partner. Then Sister Wu has no expression, He Tian Tian asked back. That Sister Wu is a shrewd and powerful woman, and she will definitely not let Lin Xiru go. He Tianatian's guess was correct. What Ye Xiaofan said next surprised He Tian Tian even more, saying, Sister Wu can't tolerate sand in her eyes, so naturally she won't let Lin Xiru go, so she slapped Lin Xiru twice in the face, and even I said, if Lin Xiru seduces people again, report it. I was there as a witness, so Lin Xiru doesn't dare to show off in front of brother Wang Lei anymore. Looking at Ye Xiaofan's words, He Tian Tian was suddenly in a trance. If in her previous life she was just criticized for being slow at work, Lin Xiru would have killed Ye Xiaofan. It was too far-fetched. Maybe there is some grudge between Lin Xiru and Ye Xiaofan that she doesn't know about. For example, in this case of rape, Ye Xiaofan was Sister Wu's witness. Hey, it's not easy to be away from home, why can't you have a good time, He Tian Tian said with emotion, I just want to work hard and my parents will be safe. Yes, I think so too, Ye Xiaofan said, the Qingshan family has already started to think of a way. Maybe we still have a chance to go back. He Tian Tian was stunned and quickly covered Ye Xiaofan's mouth and said, Sister Xiaofan, just know this in your heart and don't say it outside. Ye Xiaofan realized that he had said the wrong thing this time and said sarcastically, I speak with this mouth without going through my brain, which makes my sweet sister laugh. What you're saying is that I received a letter from home and was worried about the outside world, Ye Xiaofan said, fortunately, my family's ancestors are all poor farmers. As long as we are honest, we should be fine. That's good, He Tian Tian said, you and brother Qingshan are in love, so it's not bad here. At least you have a companion. Seeing He Tian Tian talking about her sweetheart, Ye Xiaofan smiled shyly and said with a blush, Qingshan is a nice guy. My parents said that during the Chinese New Year, I should go home and settle the marriage. While He Tian Tian was happy for Ye Xiaofan, she was also a little worried. Something happened to Ye Xiaofan not long after he returned to Qijia village from his hometown after the Chinese New Year. Although He Tian Tian knew it, she couldn't tell Ye Xiaofan now. She is not a feudal superstitious fortune teller. It didn't matter if Ye Xiaofan didn't believe it, but if he thought she was a feudal superstitious element, she wouldn't be able to clean herself up even if she jumped into the Yellow River. Ye Xiaofan wanted to talk again. Huang Jingli and Lin Xiru came back, and it was He Tianatian's turn again. Ye Xiaofan went to work, and the two stopped chatting. When He Tian Tian and Ye Xiaofan went to work, Lin Xiru curled her lips and said scornfully, I can guarantee that Ye Xiaofan will speak ill of me in front of He Tian Tian. Huang Jingli thought to herself, why do people say bad things about you instead of others? Is it because you are not honest in what you do? Huang Jingli wanted to distance herself from Lin Xiru, but Lin Xiru once threatened her implicitly if she disobeyed. She and Lin Xiru grew up together, in the same place, and knew everything about them. So no matter what she did, she would team up with Lin Xiru and accommodate Lin Xiru. Who knows, it's really hot today, Huang Jingli said, looking at Lin Xiru's face. Your skin is red from the sun, go back later and apply a towel on your face. One day, her face turned red from the sun. Linzyra quickly touched her face with her hands and said anxiously, "Oh, what can I do? If I had known better, I would not come to this place where birds don't poop. I will work all day and be tired and hot." "How about you apply it on your face now," Huang Jingli said, with a basin of clean river water next to her. "Then help me wash the towel," Linzyra said, sitting still and handing over the towel covering his face. Huang Jingli was unhappy, but she didn't dare to refuse. She took the towel and washed it in the basin, then handed the towel to Linzyra. "Oh, it's so comfortable." Linzyra put the towel on her face. It was cool, moist, and very comfortable. Linzyra put a towel on her face and could not see Huang Jingli's angry eyes beside her. "Linzyra, just wait, sooner or later I will let you know what it feels like to be threatened." 2 chapters arrived. All kinds of requests. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 61. For lunch, Linzyra and Huang Jingli went to the village canteen to eat first. It's obviously our turn to go first today, but Linzyra and Huang Jingli left again. Ye Xiaofan threw away the wooden shovel in his hand and said angrily, "Why haven't I seen them so active in work? They know how to take advantage and bully others all day long." Ye Xiaofan has a hot temper and is not as tactful as Sister Wu, but he is timid and does not dare to quarrel with Linzyra and Huang Jingli in person. He can only complain a few words in private. "Sister Xiaofan, eat dates." He Tian smiled and took out a handful of wild dates to divert Ye Xiaofan's attention. Instead of complaining, it is better to relax and not care about those petty people. These dates have been dried, but are very sweet and very delicious. When He Tian goes out to work, she will grab a handful and take them with her. When she has nothing to do or when she is hungry, she will take out a few pills. Seeing the dates in He Tian's hand, Ye Xiaofan smiled sheepishly, took 2 dates to pad his belly, and said, "I'm making you laugh, I just can't see them like this. They run fast when eating, and they are lazy when working. Haha, now that you know they have such a temper, they won't change it even if you tell them, and you'll make yourself angry." "It's not worth the loss," He Tian said, "the eyes of the crowd are sharp, and they won't be able to tell the difference then. If you don't have enough food to eat, you will work hard next year." Seeing that He Tian was so young and could think more openly than her, and felt that it was useless to be angry, Ye Xiaofan said, "What you are saying is that when we first came to Kijia village, we worked dishonestly, and then we couldn't get enough wages. Food, I have been hungry all winter, I can't even eat rice porridge, and my stomach is growling all day long." When Huang Jingli and Linzyra came back, it was already more than an hour later. He Tian and Ye Xiaofan took their lunch boxes and enamel jars to the cafeteria to eat. "Now that we are busy with farming, we are eating dry rice. The woman has 2 tails of rice. There are 2 vegetables in the big pot, one is pork stewed with potatoes, and the other is stewed eggplant. Each person has a piece of pork, a tablespoon of potatoes, and a tablespoon of eggplant. Although the dishes are ordinary, the oil tastes good, at least better than what you cook at home. This is also so that everyone can have a full stomach and have the strength to work." When He Tian and Ye Xiaofan arrived, some people were also eating. Zhang Qingshan, Wang Lei, and Sister Wu are also there. "Xiaofan, come here." Zhang Qingshan waved to Ye Xiaofan and He Tian to come over. As soon as he sat down, Zhang Qingshan took out a piece of fat and thin meat from the bottom of his bowl, put it into Ye Xiaofan's bowl, and said, "Eat it while it's hot." "Oh, didn't you say you've already eaten? Why are you still there now?" Wang Lei was surprised and asked curiously. The master chef in charge of cooking was very careful and would never give Jiang Qingshan 2 pieces of meat. Sister Wu said with envy and sourness, Jiang Qingshan has the intention to leave food for Xiaofan. Look at this person. How wonderful. Wang Lei saw that he had eaten most of the meal, and the meat in it had already been eaten by him. He smiled and said, I'll give you the meat for tomorrow too. Only then did Sister Wu smile with satisfaction. Ye Xiaofan's face was red. She couldn't starve Jiang Qingshan because her sweetheart was so kind. Besides, men did hard work, which was much heavier than her work. How could she not eat enough? You should eat some too. Ye Xiaofan gave Jiang Qingshan his piece of pork and some rice. No, I've had enough. I've had enough. Jiang Qingshan refused and insisted on giving the pork to Ye Xiaofan. Ye Xiaofan wanted to return it, but Sister Wu over there said with a smile, Xiaofan, this is Jiang Qingshan's wish, just eat it, don't toss it around, you are greedy. Ye Xiaofan blushed and lowered his head in embarrassment. Sister Wu, Xiaofan is thin-skinned, please stop saying a few words. Jiang Qingshan couldn't bear to be embarrassed, so he begged Sister Wu for mercy. For your sake, please spare Xiaofan, Sister Wu said with a smile. She and Ye Xiaofan lived together and had a good relationship with each other. They often joked. He Tian looked at the 2 couples in front of her, envious from the bottom of her heart. Although life is hard, they care for each other, love each other, and protect their love together in the difficult years. Ha ha ha, He Tian smiled, hurry up and eat, talk about love, but you can't fill your stomach. He Tian absolutely refused to admit that when she said the sentence, she obviously had a tone of saying that the grapes were sour. She envied such simple and pure love. Hey, Huo Yingjie doesn't know what to do now. Sister Wu stretched out her hand and tapped He Tian's head, and said with a smile, you yellow-haired girl, you know nothing about love. Humph, He Tian said arrogantly, I'm not blind. Looking at you of course I understand. He Tian's look is a bit like that of the Snake King, stinky and arrogant. There is also a bit of rogue cuteness. Okay, you understand, you know what you're doing, right? Sister Wu said with a smile, you are a little kid but a big kid, you know everything. That's natural, He Tian said proudly, beaming with joy. He Tian is a few years older than them, but they get along well with each other. He Tian respects them on weekdays and will give them some jujubes, wild apples and wild pears that he picks in the mountains. Wang Lei, Sister Wu and others also like this sensible and diligent little sister. Just as He Tian swallowed the last mouthful of food, she suddenly heard the lazy voice of the Snake King, saying, in 2 hours, there will be heavy rain. Hiccup, burp. He Tian was so startled by the Snake King's words that she kept burping, almost vomiting out the food she had just eaten. Sister Wu quickly gave He Tian some boiling water and handed it over. He Tian took a few sips to suppress the nauseating twitching feeling. After getting along with the Snake King before, He Tian learned that although the Snake King had many problems, he would never lie, so she believed what the Snake King said. She just believes it, she doesn't know how to speak. Unable to wait to say thank you to Sister Wu, He Tian looked up to the sky and was speechless for a while. At this moment, the sun is shining brightly and there are no clouds in the sky. If she said it would rain in 2 hours, would everyone think she was awake? He Tian looked at the sky speechlessly. Even if the sky was a little dark, she could still say it was raining. Tian, what's wrong with you? Seeing that He Tian stopped hiccuping, Sister Wu patted her shoulder and asked with concern. He Tian finally recovered and looked at Sister Wu, Brother Wang Lei, and the villagers who were already busy eating around them. The fruits of half a year's work are harvested in these few days. Now that it has been collected, if it gets wet from the rain and becomes moldy, all the hard work will be in vain. It's nothing, I suddenly couldn't take a breath and choked. He Tian smiled. From the expressions of the 4 people in front of him, it can be seen that this reason is very poor. Yes, I often also smiled and said, I am choking on my saliva, you are choking on the air, I really belong to you. This little sister is so interesting. I recommend the new book Living Color and Medical Fragrance by my good friend CNK, ISBN 100-380-7389. As the saying goes, tough melons are not sweet. Someone, who said that? I twisted, it was sweet. A certain melon. Text. Xiao Hanyu is the eldest daughter of the Xiao family in Lanling. Her biological mother died young. She grew up with her aunt since childhood and later married the prince. Even though he got the true inheritance of his aunt's medical skills, he still couldn't get a son and a half daughters. During the change of imperial power, the prince was framed. After she sent away the eldest son of the concubine, she burned the East Palace. When she opened her eyes again, she became her half-sister and the only descendant of the Xiao family in the world. So, here comes the problem. Do you want to survive by relying on your medical skills, or do you want to clear your family's name? Xianqi's writing style is very good. She wrote the poems in her novels herself, so awesome. You will know just by looking at it, it is very good. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi-Sing Cao. Chapter 62. Today's task is very heavy, so we can't delay it. After eating, it's time to go to work, Wang Lei said, took his lunch box to the sink, cleaned it, and put it in the canteen. Many people went to the fields one after another and started working in the afternoon. He Tian walked at the end, moving very slowly, muttering in her heart, Gilu Gilu, Snake King, can you hear me? Yes, Snake King said lazily, as if he was taking a nap. He Tian sweated profusely under the sun with those tiny humans, working hard and without complaint. These people work so hard, and if they see it, if they don't say anything, they will feel a little guilty in their hearts. He Tian was so envious and wanted to take a nap, but there was no such treatment during the busy farming season. Now there was a heavy rain and it was imminent, so she couldn't sleep either. King Snake, I know it's raining, but it's cloudless. If I tell others it's raining, they don't believe it, he Tian said. Besides, now that I've said it, no one believes it, but it's raining after that. They asked me why they knew it was going to rain in advance, but I couldn't explain it. The Snake King was speechless. With He Tianation's IQ, he really couldn't complete such a task. Hey, forget it, it is very merciful, and good snakes will do it to the end. Actually, it's very simple. It's not just the sky, the clouds can predict the weather, the Snake King said, you can look at your feet. The ants are walking in pairs on a hot day, there are frogs croaking in the fields, and there are fish in the lake over there. The mouth floats to the surface of the water to breathe, and there is a lot of foam in the lotus pond. These are all signs that it is about to rain. It's not obvious yet, but the Snake King can use magic to make these signs more obvious. It's a bit far from the lotus pond, so He Tian can't see it for the time being, but if you lower your head, you can see the ants walking in pairs. He Tianation's memories of her past life continued to unfold. She suddenly remembered that there was a sudden heavy rain in her previous life, which soaked the grain that everyone had worked so hard to harvest. In order to prevent the rice from sprouting, every household used large pots to dry it, which was time-consuming and labor-intensive. There was indeed such a heavy rain. As for the specific date and time, He Tian couldn't remember it. Now that the Snake King has reminded him, He Tian can't just sit idly by. Ah, He Tian exclaimed. What's wrong? Hiccups again, Sister Wu turned her head and asked He Tian behind her. He Tian pointed to the ants swarming on the ground and said, look at these ants swarming in swarms. There is a saying here that when this happens, it will rain. Raining, Sister Wu was stunned, looked up at the sky, and said with a smile, it's impossible, it can be sunny today. How can it rain when the sky is cloudless? Yeziofen also covered his mouth and smiled. Tian Tian, please think too much. How can it rain heavily on such a beautiful day? Wang Lei lowered his head, frowned, and said, don't rush to refute Tian Tian. There is also a saying in our hometown that when ants swarm, it rains heavily, especially now that ants swarm up to the high soil slope over there. It's because the rain flooded their nests in low places, so we move the nests to higher places before it rains. If there are fish showing up or there is foam on the water surface, it will definitely rain. As for when it will rain, we don't know, but we can take precautions in advance. While they were discussing, Chi Shulai heard it and scolded, what a nonsense. It's such a beautiful weather. Where did the heavy rain come from? Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and work in the fields. Yes, Accountant Chi Wang Lei smiled and led the people away. Chi Shulai is the accountant of Kijia village. He is used to being a fox and a tiger, so Wang Lei and others will not confront him head-on. After Wang Lei and the others left, other people also noticed the ants on the ground. Not all of them were as ignorant and blindly confident as Chi Shulai. Chi Xiaoyan was helping with the dishes here. After hearing what Wang Lei and He Tian said, she also noticed the situation. She had heard of biology classes in school before. The grain has just been harvested and has not been dried yet. If it gets caught in the rain, all the grain will be ruined. Second Grandpa, I have something to do. I'll come over and wash the dishes later. Chi Xiaoyan wiped her hands on her apron and ran into the field without waiting to take off her apron. Don't worry, just leave it over there and I'll do it. Chef Chi Iryi chuckled and didn't mind Chi Xiaoyan leaving. On the way to find her father, Chi Xiaoyan met He Tian and her group. Xiaoyan, why are you running so fast? He Tian grabbed Chi Xiaoyan, hoping to help. Chi Xiaoyan smiled shyly and said, I just saw a group of ants on the ground moving from low places to high places. I have seen it in biology textbooks before. This is a sign that it is going to rain. I have to tell my father. If it does rain, if we are not prepared, the hard work of our whole village will be in vain. These young people in the city rarely see Chi Xiaoyan. They only know that she is a relatively shy and introverted girl. I heard Chi Xiaoyan's words today and knew that she is a good and responsible girl. Yes, we saw it just now. Accountant Chi also said that we were talking nonsense. Zhang Qingshan said angrily, look at the pond in front, there are a lot of bubbles. This is also a sign of rain. Although the water is now, the fish in it have not yet exposed the water and wood, but it can also prove that there is a possibility of rain. They dare not say more because if it does rain, they will not get a reward. But if it hadn't rained, they had this conversation. When Wang Lei saw Chi Xiaoyan coming, he had a plan in mind and said, Xiaoyan, since you also know about this situation, you can talk to Secretary Chi privately. If we go and tell him, if it doesn't rain, we, as educated youth, will not good ending. Wang Lei is tactful in doing things. With this suggestion, the educated youth can indeed protect themselves wisely. Chi Xiaoyan nodded and said, I know, you also have good intentions. I will talk to my father right now and let him be prepared. Xiaoyan, I'll go to the grain drying field with you, He Tian said, walking to the grain drying field with Chi Xiaoyan. Before leaving, Sister Wu winked at He Tian, reminding He Tian not to talk nonsense and let Chi Xiaoyan do everything. Yeziofen didn't even know how to talk, so he followed He Tian and Chi Xiaoyan to the grain drying field. Village Chief Chi is supervising everyone's work, and he is not idle either. He is helping Yang Yang to clean out the impurities in the rice by using the natural wind. He Tian and Yeziofen went to Shigo came to replace Huang Jingli and Lin Ziru. When Lin Ziru saw Chi Xiaoyan coming, she smiled and asked, He Tian, why is Chi Xiaoyan here? You two have such a good relationship, why don't you go and have a look? He Tian will be flattered by verbal flattery. The last chapter of the free period will be available tomorrow. I hope to make a living with the money from subscriptions and rewards. I hope you will continue to support Kikai. Only your support is the motivation for Kikai to persist. Kikai doesn't know how to make any grand statements, but since he has started a book, he will write it seriously and keep updating it so that it doesn't end badly. Thank you again for your support.